Hi, my name is Susan. I just wanted to do a kind of video on like ungodly, meaningless sex from a woman's perspective. Mainly it's a warning from somebody who's had quite a lot of experience, and it's basically damaged me quite a lot because I've compromised myself and kind of crucified myself through meaningless relationships that didn't do me any good. So I just thought I'd do like sort of outlines of what I've been through really. Basically my background, as I said in the previous videos, my mum was strict and wanted to save me for someone she thought worthy, and would not let me out the house or go out with friends unless I had a chaperone such as herself or my brother. The one person she allowed was a workman who did some work around the flat, who was an apprentice around my age. She thought that he was good boyfriend material and I was interested, so but she would actually pack up the bed and take it out the room just in case he got any filthy ideas, and would check on me every 5 minutes while we were playing cards. And that didn't last long because of that kind of oppressive setup. I was quite shy and had low self-esteem. I was scared to death of men. If I had to sit next to one, I would glow brightly with red cheeks. I would fancy boys at school, but I could only look from afar, as I wasn't one of the cool girls, and was always brushed off if I was interested or overlooked. I wasn't very confident because I was bullied. I was bullied for my weight and my looks all day, every day, so I had really low self-esteem and I couldn't really face anyone. I developed an eating disorder of binging during my early teens, and I took comfort in food as a distraction for the rejection. My first experience, I was 27 years old and I met a DJ on Friends Reunited, and I was flattered at the attention he was giving me. So I went along to his radio show and met him, and he was buttering me up whilst he was on air, saying how beautiful I was and who he had in the studio. A phrase I'd never heard before, let alone publicly announced. Me beautiful. And me being as green as Orville, I fell for it because it made me feel like a woman, which I'd never felt before that. So I was reeled in with this and that email. We would communicate, and the emails got sexually more forward, and I agreed to let him visit me at my flat, where he kissed me pretty quickly. And I backed off. I was a virgin and was very shy and kind of scared that he come on to me that strong. He made his excuses and left, and he had to go somewhere. I saw him wipe his mouth as he left, which kind of hurt. Stupidly, I was intrigued and let him come back to visit again. And I'd worked on myself mentally to keep him interested by learning how to seduce him. I sat on his lap, and he says he wasn't going to take me out, which kind of hurt again. One thing led to another, and I ended up losing my virginity on the second date. The whole process must have taken an hour or less. I felt shortchanged as he left after he got what he wanted. He gave me a load of flannel about him being separated from his wife. My cat's having a wee. From his wife due to being divorced. He would keep his phone number secret, and I could never call him. He asked me out once and told me to get ready for him to take me out to a disco he was putting on, but he never turned up. So I was sitting there in my dress, my brand new dress, and all made up with my hair done, and he never turned up. I ended up on a course to be closer to him and would see him, and he would often hurry past and say a quick hello. I was so naive. But then I became his occasional booty call, and he would ring me not hiding the fact that he was with his wife on holiday when he called, which hurt, as I hoped he would be with me eventually, when I thought he was going to get separated, but he never did. I would foolishly pray to God to bring us together, but I couldn't see the obvious, and it was a bit of like a schoolgirl crush. He used to keep a book of his emails and photos, which I treasured at the time, and he saw them and laughed at them. He would visit me on average every 3 months for a booty call, and there was me hoping and hoping and hoping, but it never happened. And it fizzled out because I felt more and more and more guilty that he had a wife and that he never left, and eventually managed to break free mutually. That must have took 2 years, and that was incredibly painful, that 2 years. And then there was 4. Because of that experience, I was eager to get out onto the next man to forget him, with a view to a relationship, but ended up in short-term sexual endeavours. The next one was a bit kinky, wanting to watch me being laid in front of him, which didn't happen. The next one was a younger, but he was nonplussed and wasn't really bothered when we split. But he was a nice lad. Then the next one was a Scottish guy who was in love with his hair and posed a lot in the mirror, and that just ended up being like a day or 2. Then there was an ex-medical student who was a sex maniac. It was quite fun with him, but he was busy typing to his next conquest on my computer and calling me a bucket fanny, and rubbing it in with other women that we'd watch on television, and he stayed with me for about a week. Sometimes I'd talk to my brother and my mum about some of the experiences I had, and I felt pretty bruised inside, even though I kind of asked for it and I knew what I was doing. But I was also naive, thinking that they'd stay, but they never did. Sometimes I would confide in my family how I felt about the after effects of these experiences, and they would tell me I wasn't being treated right, but I would eventually start hiding my antics and not telling them anything, because they would get heavy and a bit controlling. I was desperate to have something of my own, but I was looking in the wrong direction and still didn't get it. That's my true nature that was being placed in the wrong direction, and I was crucifying myself, giving myself away too soon. Being too eager and trusting could have cost me my life. I was very lucky.